Hey everyone, thank you so much for being here today. My name is Denise. I'm also known as heywigsister on Instagram and Facebook. Today I'm here with a wig review for you. I'm here to show you the brand new style by Wille called ONDA. ONDA is part of their brand new line named Modix, M-O-D-I-X-X. And I have ONDA in the color Bahama Beige Shaded, which is also a new color. So we've got new all around with this review. I know a lot of you are super curious about this wig and especially want to know how this compares to Girl Mono. Well, I got you covered in this review, so just stick around and I'll walk you right through it. I would like to thank Name Brand Wigs for sending me ONDA so that I could review her for you guys. I am so grateful for the relationship that I have with them and the partnership that we have in getting some of these reviews out to all of you. Without them, I would not be able to do this. So thank you so much to my friends at Name Brand Wigs. This is so awesome of you to send me wigs like this so that I can get timely information out to our wig sisters who really want to know before they go spend their hard-earned money. So again, please thank Name Brand Wigs on my behalf, on the behalf of all of your wig sisters and other reviewers, because it is such a blessing to have a retailer supporting our community in this way. All right, you can also go to the description below to learn more and to get a link to this particular wig. Okay, I'm very excited to bring you this review because as most of you know, if you've been watching me for any period of time, I love Girl Mono. Girl Mono is my all-time favorite wig. I love Girl Mono with all my heart. I have Girl Mono in 6 colors. It's just the most perfect curly wig in my opinion. And when I saw ONDA, I just knew that this was one I was going to have to review at some point. So let me show you ONDA from all sides, and then I'll tell you all about her. I am going to show you ONDA compared to Girl Mono, and then at the end I'm going to have some pictures with them side by side. I'll do some picture collages and show from all angles side by side, so you'll really be able to get a sense of how these compare to each other. So definitely look forward to that towards the end of the video. So ONDA is, like I said, a brand new wig in a brand new line for Wille called the Modix line. And there are some really unique styles in this line that I hope to have an opportunity to see in person someday. This color, Bahama Beige Shaded, is a blonde, a rooted blonde. And I picked this color because it was one of the few that were in stock when I was choosing. I know that this has been a release and it seems like they're slowly releasing all of the colors. So if I get an opportunity to get one of the brunettes in this new line of colors, I will absolutely jump on that because I know I have a lot of brunette wig sisters who watch my reviews. They just didn't have any of them really in stock when I was selecting, and so I selected this one because I thought it might be a blonde that some brunettes could wear. So that's why I selected it. I will talk more about the color toward the end. If you're here just to see the color, please go to the description of this video where I will timestamp the sections where I talk about the color specifically. Now, what about ONDA? First of all, I think this is such a similar style to Girl Mono. I will do the comparison in a little bit. That if you like Girl Mono, I do think you're going to like ONDA. There are some subtle differences, but they're so subtle that I think a lot of people would mistake this one for Girl Mono. The fibers are so soft and lightweight. This wig is definitely a lower density, lightweight piece with just a tiny bit of permatease. And I really truly, in my heart, do not believe that you can successfully create a curly wig with no permatease. I've yet to see one that really worked, because if you have 0 permatease, then all the curls are going to lay flat and lifeless, and it's really going to look like it's missing something. That said, the permatease in this is very, very appropriate. It's not poofy and pillowy, so I don't reach in and feel any nesty permatease at all. I reach right in and touch cap, and it doesn't have a tremendous amount of density. It's very lightweight. There is a little bit of crimpy fibers. I can feel the most of it sort of down here at the nape, but even sort of on the sides, I can tell there's just the tiniest bit of crimpy fibers in here. Almost like when you take your bio hair and you back comb it a little bit to bring a little lift to it. That's sort of what the crimpy fibers are doing with this one. So if you do not like permatease, if you specifically seek out wigs that don't have permatease, but you really want a curly style like this, I think you should try it. I don't think that the permatease is going to overwhelm you. I think it is 100% appropriate and could not live without it. If you were to get this wig and find the permatease in this one to be too much, I almost would recommend you give up your hope of being able to wear curly wigs, because it's so minimal and it's really needed. So that's my 2 cents about the permatease on this one. I also think that the density is the perfect amount so that you don't have too low of density, but for someone who likes big hair and a lot of hair, this one, because of the way the curls fall, it sort of satisfies both needs, to have some volume and to have some body, but not have too much hair for somebody who's maybe newer to wigs. So I think it does check a lot of boxes. Now, the curl pattern on this one is kind of a loose spiral. So I'm going to get a little closer so that you can see. I think it's more than a beachy wave. And I have seen some reviewers review this as a beachy wave. And I would disagree with that on the piece that I have. I think it's more of a loose spiral. I think you could make this a beachy wave by combing it out. I do not recommend combing these wigs if you want to maintain the curl though. If you want to relax the curl, then by all means take a wide tooth comb and comb through it, because I think this will respond well to being combed. I don't think it will get overly frizzy, but it will definitely relax that curl, and if you keep combing it, you will eventually permanently relax the curl. I have said this in my Girl Mono video. I have had wig sisters reach out to me and complain that their Girl Mono has lost its curl, and almost 100% of the time, that person was combing Girl Mono out because they thought that's how you had to care for your wig, is comb through it, get the tangles out. And unfortunately, that is a recipe for relaxing curl on a curly wig. So if you like the more formed spiral, then I recommend the most you ever do with this one is finger comb it. And that is what I've done with this piece. I do have an out of the box. She looked pretty much like this out of the box. All I did was I sprayed her a little bit with water and scrunched her up on the top just to see if I could get coax a little more curl into the root area and into the bang area, which are a lot straighter, as you can see. There isn't much curl in this part versus this part, but otherwise she really didn't have bad box hair, and I talk about that at the end of the video, and I will tack that out of the box on for you so you can see what I had out of the box. Let's take a look at this cap and this lace front. This has a great lace front. Look at how they have taken all those light colors up to the front so that you don't see the dark knotting of the root. I think they took something out of the Raquel Welch playbook, because they definitely used that technique. The lace on here is a little obvious on me. It's very, very light. And so I would probably find myself trimming this lace up a little bit because it is so light. And that is fairly common with Ellen Wille wigs. I find oftentimes I can see that lace, and so I do trim it up. I do want to make a comment about the lace. Now, I have the benefit of having been able to watch a couple of reviews on this one already, so I was able to take what I saw in those reviews and compare them to my piece to see if I found some similarities. And I did watch a review where the reviewer said that the lace was the softest lace that she's ever felt, and it was absolutely 100% different than the lace on her Girl Mono. I'm not finding that on this. I don't think it's all that different. I'm not finding it super soft. I'm not finding it to really feel any different to me than my Girl Mono lace. Now, something like that is kind of subjective. Maybe I'm just not that sensitive to those minor changes, and I don't, you know, some people aren't super sensitive to taste changes. Like, people can taste like the notes on a wine. I just taste the wine. You know, I don't have a lot of subtlety to my tastes maybe. And so, but I spent some time really comparing the lace, feeling the lace. I felt this lace compared to an Aesthetica wig. I felt this lace compared to a Raquel Welch wig. It feels real similar to me, to all of them. I mean, I think there is a little bit of a difference, but nothing significant enough that I feel confident recommending that if you have been irritated by lace in the past, that maybe you should try this one. I really don't find there to be that much of a difference. And so, again, I think that's why you want a whole bunch of us reviewing these wigs, because we all have different opinions, we all have different assessments, and you really do need to get a whole bunch, and then you can kind of formulate your own. I did want to say that though, because I didn't find it to be true on my piece, and maybe it is just the difference between our pieces. Who knows? I mean, honestly, I don't want to comment on that, but it is definitely something I felt the need to mention. Let's take a look. And it's a mono part, so you've got your left mono part again, that left going to the right. So for my right hand parters, you've got another left part here. And I did notice one thing that I want to point out right away before I put on my Girl Mono so that you can see the comparison. The parting space is just a little bit different. It's subtle, but it's a little bit different. So this one is longer and just a little bit skinnier. Girl Mono is a little bit fatter and a little bit shorter. I don't know if you can see that. It's hard because I don't have 5 hands, but I held them up side by side on the table. I laid them side by side on the table and I really looked at it. And this one's just slightly skinnier and slightly longer, so it goes back just a little bit further. Another thing I noticed is they both have extended napes, but this one's extended nape is not much, but a little bit wider than the Girl Mono extended nape. So it's a little fatter, and the material on that is softer. Girl Mono does have kind of the soft velvety extended nape, and this one on ONDA is softer for sure. So I found that to be really, really interesting. So you've got your lace front mono part, your velvet, very soft ear tabs, very soft extended nape, and Velcro adjusters. Let me throw on Girl Mono for you so that you can see. And then I'll tell you what I'm seeing. And it'll be hard at first, but when you see the side-by-side pictures, I think you'll see what I'm talking about. So let me get her situated. So the first thing that I want to mention is I think the cap on ONDA is just slightly bigger. This Girl Mono feels a little bit snugger on me, more snug than ONDA. I think ONDA is pretty true to average actually. So if you have found that Girl Mono is a little small for you, a little tight, ONDA may fit you a little better. So again, that can be, again, another subjective thing. It can vary from wig to wig. I have seen that in other brands where the caps don't always fit exactly the same, even in the same style, but it does seem to run a little bigger. So let me make sure I've got this situated. It's always hard when I just throw it on camera. So here's Girl Mono. Now, this is one of the curlier Girl Monos that I've had. So another caution I want to give you, curly wigs have a lot of variability in the curl pattern, in the amount of curl, and how high up the curl goes. There's so much variability in curly wigs. It can be a real frustration. So my ONDA may be less curly or more curly than someone else's. Mine looks curlier than the other reviewer that I watched. I don't know if she combed hers out or not, but mine looked curlier to me, and it could be a variation, or she might have combed hers. I'm not really sure. But this is definitely curlier all the way around than ONDA. It's also generally shorter than ONDA. The nape is shorter, and I compared the two napes. ONDA's nape is slightly longer. The sides are a little bit longer on ONDA, and I think part of that could be because the curl pattern's a little more relaxed on this one. The curl on this one goes up higher on my Girl Mono. ONDA has a lot more straight on the top. The curl on this one is a lot more, like the bang here has more of a curl than ONDA has, and this bang has a lot more lift than ONDA has. And this Girl Mono is a new one. This is not one that I've worn. It's my backup Hot Hazelnut mix one. I have a Hot Hazelnut mix that I wear, and this is my backup for when I need to replace that one. So this is a brand new one. I am comparing brand new to brand new. And so, but I have had Girl Monos that weren't this curly. I've had Girl Monos that didn't have as much lift here. I've also had Girl Monos that were a little bit straighter in the bang. So again, it's going to vary depending on the piece that you get. I don't think ONDA is substantially different. I think they're very, very similar. I think this one is a little shorter, a little curlier, but it may not always be. Let me put it back on. I'm not really helping, I know. I am kind of saying it depends, but that's how it goes with wigs. It really is. So all I can do is judge based on the pieces that I have, but I have had the privilege, because I love Girl Mono so much, of having many of those. So I do understand all the variability that you can get with Girl Mono, which is why I can give you some educated opinions about the differences, because I've seen a lot of Girl Monos. I do think that, again, you can see it's straighter here. I think the curl is not quite as poofy and bouncy. I think this curl is just a little bit more relaxed. You've got more of a bang. It's a little bit flatter. You could, but you know, very well could get one that has a little bit more lift here. But I don't see as much curl in the bang. It's longer in the back, ever so slightly. I don't know that it's enough length difference to really make or break one way or the other. You know, so if you thought Girl Mono was way too short for you, I don't know that this is that much longer that it's going to make a huge difference. But, you know, if you just wished for a tiny little bit more length, maybe ONDA is for you. I think the cap fits a little bit looser, not a ton, but a little bit. And then as far as hair volume and permatease goes, to me, Girl Mono does feel a little more voluminous. And that could be partly because of the amount of curl. So if you had Girl Mono and you found her to be just a little bit too big for you, too curly, but you just wished for a slight difference, you know, you weren't looking for night and day difference, you just wish you were a little bit flatter, a little bit less curly, then ONDA could really be that for you. You may find that that is just the slight difference that you were looking for. I love them both, and I think ONDA is adorable, and I definitely almost feel like I could wear one or the other, so it's really great. It's just not a huge departure in my opinion. All right, let's talk about the color. Let me grab the tag. Bahama Beige Shaded. I'm going to read it to you as I get up closer. So it's 1622. I had to grab my color index here so I can read that to you as well. And 14. So a 16 is a honey blonde. A 22 is a light ash blonde, and a 14 is a medium ash blonde. And then you've got a darker root here. I don't know what the root is. They don't include the root numbers on their color codes anymore. So I'm not sure what we're dealing with here, but I'll pull it off and I'll give you my assessment. Beautiful color. Now, this color really looks different depending on the lighting that you're in. So as I have studied it closely so I could describe it to you as best as I can, it is definitely a combination of warm and cool. I definitely see the honey blonde. There's some darker honey gold blonde running through, and then there's a cooler, ashier, light kind of champagne blonde. and they are very well blended. It's just there's streaks of darker and lots, probably it seems like there's more of the light ash blonde than there is of the honey blonde. And then the ash blonde, the sort of dark ash blonde is also interspersed into here. And then this root is really interesting. It's fairly ashy, but every now and then I get a glimpse of some warmth there. And they did a fairly good job of diffusing it with some of the lighter color, so it isn't stark. When they say shaded, I think they really did a good job of shading. It's not like you've got a dark root and then you go into blonde. They've got nice light colors that go up in some parts and not in others. One of the things you run into with really light colors like this when you have a root is that root can look a lot darker than it actually is because of how light this is. So my guess is we're looking at probably a 6 or an 8 root. It's not darker than that. So if you're looking at this on camera and thinking that looks almost black, it does not look like that in person. It definitely has a brown to it. It doesn't have a redness to it. It's really quite cool, actually. And that's why I think this color could work for a brunette, because you've got that darker root that if you've got some bio hair to blend and you're a brunette, you might be able to pull that off. I think it also sort of tamps down on the lightness of this because it does have some of that light ash in the 22 that sometimes could overwhelm a brunette. And then you've got that all throughout. So they've pulled the root all throughout so it really looks natural. So you're wondering, is this a cool color? Is it a warm color? Yes. Yes, I think it is both. I think that it kind of straddles that line, and I think it's all going to depend on the light you're in. If you're outside, it's going to look one way. If you're in bright sunlight, I noticed I did my outside look already, and it's bright sunlight and the sun is not going down, but it's over the halfway part. It's sort of late afternoon sunshine. It looked very gold outside. It looked very, very gold, and it doesn't look that way inside. It's a little bit more ashy, a little bit more toward the very light blonde in indoor light. So it's really gonna vary. It's not really yellow though. I wouldn't call this a yellow blonde. It's not platinum either. It's sort of the straddling that line. I don't know, if you're a blonde, I think you know what I mean. There are some blondes, they're very hard to classify. All right, guys, well, I don't know. What do you think of this one? How did you think it compared to Girl Mono? I'd be really interested to see in the comments what you think, especially when you see those pictures. I am going to get outside now. I've already done the outside look, so we're going to tack that on here, and then I do have an out of the box. It's very uneventful, but I will tack it on since I did it, but really nothing to report on with that out of the box. Let me know what you think. I like it. I think it's really cute. I think it's so close to Girl Mono though, that if you have Girl Mono and you love Girl Mono, and you're on a super tight budget, and so you can't really afford to buy like a lot of the same type of style, I don't know that you need to get this one. I hate to say that, and I don't want to make anybody mad, but I don't think it's that different. I really don't. But if you do, if you have it, if you've got both, please, please put that in the comments, even if you disagree with me, because that's the beauty of all of this. We have to just get as much information as we can, and then people have to make up their own minds once they've compiled all that information. So I would love to hear what you have to say about this. Thanks for watching, you guys. And once again, thank you to Name Brand Wigs. I so appreciate the opportunity to bring you the variety that I can only bring because of retailers willing to work with me as a reviewer. So thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart. And thank you guys for being here and watching my videos. I love you so much, and I wouldn't be here without you. So thank you. I'll talk to you guys soon. All right, everyone. I am excited to show you this Bahama beige shaded color outside. My daughter just drove up. You probably heard a car pull up. And then you'll hear a door close as well, but that's okay. I am going to describe this more in depth in the indoor look, which you've already seen. I haven't filmed that yet, so I'm just going to let you take a look at it. I've studied it a little bit inside. I'm going to study it. I'm going to take it off my head and study it out here so that I can really describe this well to you. What I've seen so far is a great blending of cool and warm tones. There's some definite cool blonde in here, and there's definite caramel warm blonde in here. And then you've got that root, which I really need to study more, but it seems to me that it's kind of a combination of, again, cool and warm, sort of a neutral ashy with some warm. I'm going to study that a little bit more too. Oops, can't go that way because then my phone blocks the sun and gives a shadow. It's just a beautiful blonde. Really pretty. I think it's going to work for a lot of people. I'm going to try to see if I have any other blondes I can compare this to. Again, you'll know all that because I already did the inside look for you, just not for me yet. Okay, hope that helped you guys. Thanks for watching. Hey everyone, I'm here to do the out of the box. I'm in a little bit of a different spot for my out of the box. I'm just kind of in my bedroom in front of a window. I thought I'd try this and see how it goes, and I can't seem to get my tripod to be tall enough in this room. But anyway, let's do the out of the box. This is ONDA. Straight out of the box. This is awesome. This curl pattern is awesome. I've already tried her on. I've not taken the tag off her. I haven't shaken her out. I haven't done anything. Now, sometimes with these out of the box, with brand new styles like this, they tend to look better than an older piece because they're new and so they haven't been living in their box that long. And that is definitely the case with ONDA. I don't have my bathroom mirror to look in, so let me just get closer here. Look at this one. Wow. So good. So the beauty of getting a wig out of the box that looks pretty good is that you can tell pretty quickly whether or not the style is going to be one that works for you versus one with really terrible box hair like the Tip Tuesday I just did with my Paula Young Becky. It was so bad that new wig wearer is really going to struggle to know whether or not they should keep it. This is going to give you a really good idea of what ONDA's going to look like. She's not going to need a whole lot of intervention, which will make it a lot easier for you to decide if she's going to work for you. Like, I literally could wear this one out of the box for the most part. I would just shake it out some, finger comb these curls, you know, kind of work on this section just to see how the bangs want to lay. I always, with my curly wigs though, I always like to hang them upside down for a little while. I like to spray this area with water and do a lot of scrunching because I kind of want to see, can I get a little bit more curl out of these bangs, or is this, you know, is this meant to be a little bit straighter than the rest of it? Those are some of the things I like to test out, and spraying a wig with water is not going to hurt it. It's not going to ruin it. It's not going to do anything negative to it. So I figure, what the heck, why not just see what I have to work with, and then I can always comb it or finger comb it. This is going to be one of those styles that I'm going to be really cautious not to comb because I don't want to relax these beautiful curls. ONDA looks fabulous out of the box. Obviously, you know how she wound up looking, but really, really a good style out of the box.